Hey guys, it's Jane. Happy Memorial Day. It's been a while since my last video. I think it was like mid-March since I filmed last. It was right at the beginning of Lent, and I had spoken about the fact that I had given up shopping. So there was a little bit of lapse in time there for, not shopping and not really making sales toward the beginning of March, but then since then I have made some sales because it's the end of May now, so I wanted to share what has sold and also update you and show you some things that I've purchased since the end of Lent. So let's get started. Okay, so there's going to be a first group of things that have sold that are non-channel related items, like things that I had had before I started the channel, or things that I purchased that I didn't feel a need to share on the channel, that have sold. So I'll just go over those with you really quick. The first thing was this wall shelf. It's like a ceramic or plaster kind of shelf that's got a cherub on it. It's painted black. I actually got it for free. I found it and I was able to sell that for $29. So that was cool. The next thing was a mug that I had been holding on to for a while. That I purchased at the church thrift store that I've talked about before. It's an Anthropologie mug, and I know that Anthropologie can sell pretty well. This is what it looks like. It's pretty large. I had it for a while, but I only paid 25 cents for that, and I ended up selling it for 17. When they were first selling on eBay really big, they were selling for closer to 30. But like I said, I held on to mine for a while. Somebody made me an offer, so I accepted the $17. The next thing was a handbag that, again, I didn't have to really pay for because someone had gifted it to me. And I had held on to that for a while, didn't post it for sale for a bit because I liked it, and I was debating on whether or not I was going to use it. But it's this hand-tooled leather handbag from the 50s or the 60s. I couldn't exactly narrow down a date, but it's really pretty. It's got these roses on it, and this like nice little hardware at the front, really nice braided detail there, and it was in really good condition given the age. So anyway, I got that for free and I sold that for $23. The next thing was something again that I had purchased at the church thrift a while back before I even started the channel. But these are what's called Franciscan, a brand called Franciscan, and this is the Desert Rose pattern. And they have different types of patterns, but this is one of the more desirable ones. And they were selling for more a few years ago, but I still recognize them as being good, so I picked those up. And I only paid, I think, $2 for those, the set of 4 bowls, and I sold those for $18. So that was good. The last non-channel related thing, which is kind of interesting, is this, it's a CD from this metal band called Kitty. And I had it for a while in my collection, and the thing that made it really profitable is because it's still brand new, sealed in the package, and it's from like the late 90s, and music in general, people will pay up for if it's something that's rare or just, dead stock that's not being sold in stores anymore. Especially when it comes to the sealed CDs or like band shirts, because I also, funnily enough, I also sold a kitty shirt that I had that was vintage, and I think I paid like $8 for it, and I ended up selling it for like $130, so that was crazy. This, I believe when I bought it a few years back, I paid like $20 for it, and I was able to sell it for $107. So now let's get to the stuff, if you've watched my previous videos, that you'll be more familiar with, because these are things that I have shown you on the channel that I purchased and that I've talked about a little bit. So the first thing was this little vintage ceramic rooster. He's like a creamer and a salt shaker at the same time. I thought he was really neat. He does have some like paint wear on the top there from the age, but I just thought he was too cool to pass up. I paid $2 for him, and I was able to sell him for $16. The next thing was these rose gold coasters that I had. This was from an older video. So I held on to those for quite a while. Didn't make a lot of profit. But yeah, they're like handmade, hand-stamped little coasters that I just thought were sweet. And I think, yeah, I paid $3 for those and sold them for $8. So that wasn't a big item, which I didn't expect it to be, but I just thought they were nice. The next thing was this Bill Campbell plate that I had talked to you guys about. I know initially I said I was going to be holding on to it for a bit, but then I decided to let it go. But I had found this at the new consignment shop that I've been working with, and they didn't realize what it was, but I immediately recognized the signature on the back as Bill Campbell, and it's just gorgeous. It's got such nice coloring and everything. So I paid $4 for that, and I sold that for $30. The next thing was this deviled egg plate, which I posted at a good time because it was right around Easter that I sold it. It was toward the end of March. So I paid, what did I pay for that? I think I paid $2 for that one as well. Yeah, and I was able to sell that for $20. And if you remember back to one of my earlier videos, I sold another one that was pretty much exactly like this for the same price. So if you see those and you want to sell them, they go for pretty good money. Let's see. Next thing was this Native American wedding vase. Again, another church thrift find. I just thought it was really sweet, and I really appreciated the detail on it. It still had the tag on it. And I just really, the thing that really drew me in was the coloring, because a lot of times when you see these, they're like a tan or brown color, but I really thought the color on this was beautiful. And the fact that it still had the tag was nice. So, that one, again, because it was from the church thrift, I didn't pay a lot. I think, yeah, like $1.42, and I sold that for $28. And it was nice because the woman who bought it was actually getting married, and she said she had been searching for one for a while, and she said that this was going to be perfect, specifically because of the color. So that was good that it went to somebody that could really use it. Let's see. The next thing was, again, not a big profit item, but I didn't want to leave it behind because I knew what it was. It's this Fenton milk glass vase. So again, I didn't put a lot of money into this, which is why I was willing to pay for it, to sell. And I knew what it was. It's like a daisy and button pattern. I talked about it in a previous video. But yeah, I only paid 75 cents for that, and I sold it for $8. So again, not a lot of profit, but I didn't want it to get broken. So, picked that up. Sometimes, you know, resellers like to rescue things, you know? It's like, even if it's not going to bring you a lot of profit, and you know it's not like a big seller, but you know like it's a fragile thing, you don't want to leave it at the thrift store for somebody to break it. Next thing was this mid-century modern butter dish that I bought at Goodwill. First I could only find the top of it, and then I walked around a couple times to see if I could find the bottom plate, but I just really love the shape of it and the look of it. And I paid like $1, yeah, $1.36, and I sold that for $20. Yeah, okay. So then the next thing was these Balik salt and pepper shakers. If you remember, I had also bought those at Goodwill, and they were only $1 total because they were 50 cents a piece. And Balik is a very a well-known brand, and a lot of people appreciate it. Depending on what the item is, you can get, you know, a pretty good profit. There's some items that are more rare than others. These didn't have their stoppers in them, but the design of them and like the fragility of it and everything, I just really appreciated that. So yeah, I only paid $1 for those and sold those for $20. The next thing again was another Goodwill find that I had spoken about before. It's this recycled glass bottle made in Spain, and it's just got this really nice like greenish tint to the glass, and the texture of the glass I feel like would be really nice if you set it like on a windowsill or something, which I did for a little while I was waiting for it to be sold. And I sold that, or I'm sorry, I purchased that for $5 and sold it for $24. The next thing, a little while ago I had bought a lot of pins from a woman online, and it was like a lot of 5 vintage pins. And one of them was particularly profitable. I spoke about it in a previous video. It was like a pin that was like a thimble, and it had all these little things coming out of it that were really cute, like a little bumblebee and a flower and stuff like that. So I mainly bought the lot for that pin. But yeah, so then I decided to sell the others off. So this is one of the ones that was in the lot. So this is a vintage like enamel navy and white flower. So the whole lot of 5 pins, she had me pay $25 for that. So for each pin I did pay $5. So, you know, a little bit more money into it than I would have liked, but knowing that one pin was pretty profitable, I didn't mind. So I paid $5 for this. I sold it for $12. And then the last one, which is the most exciting one, is one that I had spoken about a lot in another video as well. It was this vase that, again, was a church thrift purchase. And I just bought it because I liked the look of it. I liked the color. I liked the weight. It just seemed like a quality piece, you know. And then I paid $2 for that. And I noticed this signature on the bottom that said lock, and I thought that was really interesting. So I went home and I did some research, and come to find out that it was made by a company by Fred Locke, who mainly did insulators, like vintage and antique insulators. And so the vases are more rare, because that wasn't really the product that they would make. But so, yeah, so this was a rare find, and I had seen another one through my research that sold for $100. So, again, paid $2 for that. I put it up on eBay, and somebody ended up buying it for $99. So that was exciting. I had no idea It was a complete shock. So that was awesome. So yeah, so after everything, I paid a total of $49.20, and I sold everything for $479. So after fees, that comes out to a profit of $408. And that's been since the last video. So not too shabby. And now we're going to go over and I'll show you some things that I've purchased since then. Okay, so we're in my kitchen. So I've got these like whiteboards up on the counter here so you can actually see everything. Some of these don't really count as like purchases per se because they were either given to me or they're not something that I plan on selling. So yeah, so let's go in order here. So the first thing was this vase that I found online, and it's a McCoy vase, which I believe you've heard me talk about McCoy before. It's a pretty well-known maker of pottery and ceramic, and I just loved the shape of it. Was the first thing that really drew me in, but also the color. I'm really starting to come into like my type of style and my type of design that I want to go for. And my living room, I'm trying to do like teal and like wood, like natural wood color with like this mustard yellow color. So I thought this vase would go perfect, and it looks really nice. The next thing was something I didn't purchase but was being gifted, and nobody else wanted it, so I jumped at it. It is a compote dish, a milk glass compote. And milk glass, it kind of goes on a roller coaster. You know, it's like one time like it's like really profitable, like really popular, and then like it just kind of slowly went down and down and downhill to where now you can find milk glass all over the place for really cheap and nobody seems to care. But more recently, I'm going to say within the last 6 months, milk glass has really started to pick back up again. And I think that that's really just due to the fact that A, it's white, so it's going to go with pretty much everything. And B, I feel like people, like younger people in my generation, are starting to appreciate and really want higher quality items rather than, you know, these prefabricated cheap things that just get thrown away. And especially like for weddings, I mean, things like this, you know, you can really make a good amount of money if you have milk glass. So yeah, so the great thing about this was I purchased this right around before Easter. Or I mean, I was gifted it before Easter, and I decided I was going to fill it up with jelly beans. So that was really cool, because, you know, the white, and then you open it up and it's got all these pretty jelly beans in it. I thought that was pretty. So the next thing, or next couple things, was at the church thrift shop in Edgewater. Not a big deal, but I just saw them when I was there. This one I don't really have a whole lot of information on, but it's an interesting texture. It's almost like a bisque porcelain, but it says made in Taiwan. I can never get my camera to focus for you guys, but it's got this like raised detailing in it, and I thought it was just really sweet, like to put on a dresser and like put your jewelry in or something like that. So that was cute. And then this one was pretty exciting. This is a little shoe, and it has no breakage on it, no damage at all. It was just sitting there on the shelf, and I paid like 75 cents for this. And granted, it's not too terribly profitable. From the research I've done, you can get like $8 to $12 for it. But the thing I really appreciate about it is, after doing my research, this appears to be Victorian. So given the age and the fact that it has no damage, that's pretty amazing to me. So I had to pick that up. Sorry, my camera cut off. So then the next thing was just this little box that I found at Goodwill. It was in one of the carts that they had brought out, and it was sitting at the bottom, but it was like sitting sideways like this, and I was like, is that a face? And then I just went over and looked and took it out of the bottom of the cart. And yeah, it's just this like little resin little jewelry box, and it's got this like tree man on the top of it, which is pretty cool. I like that type of stuff, like that fairy tale type of stuff, so that's pretty neat. I think I only paid like $3 for that. Another Goodwill find, which I think was on the same day, was these little salt and pepper shakers, and those were 75 cents, and the shape of them seems to me like they are mid-century. They don't have any kind of like signature on them, but they kind of remind me of like Fiesta, you know, like the Fiesta plates and stuff that you can get in all the different colors. And I just thought they were really sweet and simplistic. Another thing that I was gifted was this beautiful teacup. I just recently had a tea party at a friend's house, and I wanted it to be Alice in Wonderland themed, and we all dressed up in costumes. It was really fun. And I had asked a few people online, because I'm part of like a community of people where you can kind of just ask and see if people have things to give away. And so I was looking for mismatched teacups to bring to the party. So this woman gifted me this one, and then I decided this is going to be one that I would keep. It's just gorgeous. It's just got these beautiful flowers on it. It's very dainty. It's got like this gold edging on it. You'll see like a couple little like brown lines there, and that's called crazing, which I've talked about before, which is when you have something like this where it's like a porcelain, and over time, like any kind of temperature changes will cause these lines to happen, where it doesn't mean that it's broken or anything, it's just, it's wearing on the porcelain. So it kind of comes natural with time and age. But so, looking at this and doing a little bit of research, because I see there's a stamp on the bottom that says Royal Albert, Crown China from England, and doing research on this specific pattern, this is like a $35 teacup. So the fact that this woman was just willing to give it to me was pretty amazing. So I'll be holding on to that for a little while, because I like to drink tea. And come to think of it, I feel like this is my only actual teacup. I think everything else is a mug. Another thing that I bought recently is this little perfume bottle. It's just very, very sweet. It's got these flowers on it. There's a butterfly on top with this green glass. And it's really heavy. You know, it's good quality. And the reason why I was drawn to it was first the design of it, but then it's made by this maker called Monet. And they do a lot of like trinket boxes and perfume bottles and things like that that are just really nice quality. And somebody was selling this for, I think, $10, and it was in its original box, so I went ahead and purchased that. Another thing that I am not going to be selling, these were gifted to me by my mother-in-law. I've recently gotten more and more into uranium glass, so she gifted these to me, and she said she wasn't sure 100% if they would glow, but she wanted to gift them to me anyway. And these are from a maker of glass called Hazel Atlas, and I don't know necessarily if people call them dessert bowls or what, but I know that in this particular set there's like a larger bowl you can buy that comes with like the large bowl and then the smaller ones around it. So, you know, you could make like a a pudding or some kind of dessert and then spoon it out into the little bowls. Or if you really wanted to have fun, you could do like ice cream or something. So I thought that was cool. But I wanted to show you them under the black light. So give me 1 second. Okay, so here we are in the dark, and I've got my black light. And as soon as I shine it on these, they just light up. It's gorgeous. I don't even know if the camera is like justifying or showing you like how beautiful and bright these are. But I was so excited I immediately messaged my mother-in-law and I'm like, they are uranium. They're just awesome. I don't have like a larger black light that, because some people will put their uranium glass in a cabinet and put, you know, like a black light above them so that they can show them off in the case. I don't have a setup like that yet, but if I get more uranium, that would be cool to have a setup like that. So yeah, I just thought those were awesome. And then I'll show you one last thing. Okay, so this was purchased yesterday. I went to Goodwill to drop off a few donations, and then I decided I would go in and look around, and I found this. This is a Gicley print that's signed by the artist. So what drew me in was just the design of it and the colors of it. Because like I said, I'm really trying to go for like this blue and yellow kind of theme. And so there's a lot of those colors in here. And it kind of reminds me of the phases of the moon. Like if you look at the different ways she uses the colors, sometimes you can see like crescent moons in there. But yeah, so it's got the signature down here. It's by an artist named Audrey Welsh. And it's print number 239 out of 950. And so I was doing research on her online, and this is actually just a portion of one of her pieces that's been printed, and like a portion that's been selected to print. But the whole piece is actually, I want to say, like double the size of this. And so the original piece, if you get like a larger piece of that, can go for like $100 or more for the print. I don't know how much, you know, you'd pay for the actual original. I'm sure it would be much more than $100. But so I only paid $20 for this. So why not? So yeah, that's going to be hanging up in my living room. And yeah, I just thought it was awesome. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.